go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing. Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Welcome to Crafty Beach. This is Julie, and today I have 7 all-new beach DIYs for you using supplies from the Dollar Tree. So let's get started. The first one is these little wooden fish from the Shore Living line at Dollar Tree. I bought a bunch of these and I wasn't really sure what to do with them, and I thought of a really fun idea with these. They come in 2 different styles. This is like the wood grain. They also had like the white one, and they had these little ropes like stapled around like their tail fins. I thought we could take these and make them into a lantern. So I thought that would be a really fun way to use these fish. And so the first thing I'm going to do is just go in here and remove the rope from each one, the staples, just because you could leave that on there, but I do want to do a little bit of staining on these to make it a little bit darker wood, just so it'll kind of match the sides of the fish and the back of the fish, because you're going to be able to see those a little bit when I go to make this a lantern. So I don't want it to be too dark, so I'm going to mix a little Antique Wax by Waverly with some water, just make a lighter stain with those. And the wood on this is a little bit finished, so it's not going to change much without sanding, but it's enough to stain a little bit. The trick here is to not really wipe this off. I kind of want the stain to dry on there and give me like that kind of medium wood stain that is similar to the side and the back, which is like an MDF wood. I just wanted to kind of blend in a little bit better, and the top of these like initially was just a little bit lighter wood. I thought that would make it look better in the end. So my plan is to take, all 4 of these 4 sides of a lantern, and, with the shape of the fish, there's still going to be openings and stuff, so you'll be able to see like the candle shine through, and it turned out so cute. So I'm just going in and staining the sides, which, with that MDF, it just kind of soaks in, but I'm just trying to get it kind of consistent looking, if you know what I mean. So I put that on there, and then I just dry that with my dryer. I'm going to flip those over and stain the back. They do have tags on them. I probably should have removed those already, but that's okay. It's not too late. I just want to remove these because when I put the lantern together, you might be able to see those. So I'm just going to use some heat and a scraper to remove all of those tags. And then, as you can see, some of the stain dripped onto the back, which is fine because I was going to stain the back of these anyway. So it's just a matter of getting all these little sticky tags off. Looks like the metal scraper is the way to go. So I'm using that same stain, and the backs of them don't have to look perfect because it's going to be like the inside of the lantern. And this is a very neutral beach DIY. Like, it's not going to be very colorful. I mean, you could always add color to yours if you wanted a little bit more color, but this is definitely going to go with more of a neutral color scheme. Where the tag was didn't want to stain real well, so I did add a little Antique Wax by Waverly to that part just to make it a little bit darker. And it did help a little bit. I think it did stain. If I would have sanded like this side of the fish, I could have probably got it a little bit darker, but I think it's dark enough. I think we can make this work. Now it's just a matter of figuring out how to build it. My first attempt, I just went in. I thought maybe I could use like hot glue and the 2 points where the fish come together. It's going to be like a rectangular shape because the way you have to put it together, one end is going to have to kind of go inside of another one, if you know what I mean. So you're going to be able to see the sideways part of the fish on one side. And that's going to make that part of the lantern wider. So I tried it with hot glue, and I went in and I glued all 4 of them together with hot glue, and it just was not stable at all. So we're going to try nails instead. And I'm just using some Dollar Tree nails. You just want to make sure you find a nail that's long enough to go all the way through the fish. And this is going to make it so much sturdier anyway. And it's okay to have a few visible nails in this. I think it's going to be okay. So I'm just kind of lining up the body of the fish right there at a corner. Try to make sure that I have it straight. I don't want to go through the side of the fish. And I just hammer that right in. I'm not going to attach the tails. The tails are a little tricky to get square, so we're just going to attach the body and see if we can make it work from there. So I want the other side to go on there underneath of it, just like that. This is going to be like the front part of my lantern. It's going to be the skinnier side of the rectangular lantern. And one nail over here as well. Just trying to make sure that I get that in there super straight. And that looks pretty good, looks pretty square, so we can flip it over and now put the other side on. So both of those sides should tuck under it just like that. So I'm trying to line everything up, line up the tail of our little fish. And then on this side, I'm going to do the same exact thing, just go in there with a nail on each side. And I'm glad I decided to put it together that way rather than hot glue, because I really think that it would have fallen apart with the hot glue. It could be that the MDF was a little too soaked with stain too, but it just was not very stable with hot glue for sure. So we got that all attached. I think it's going to be stable enough with just those 4 nails. And I was trying to decide if I wanted my lantern to be like the fish with the tail down or the fish with the tail up. So I was trying to decide. I decided to use a little Dollar Tree sign as a base. It's shaped like a rectangle. The color is almost the same. Even like the wood cutouts are almost the same as the fish. So that works great. And then a skinny battery operated candle from the Dollar Tree to fit inside will fit perfectly. So that's the little wood sign we're going to use. I love that finish. I think it's going to match really well. And this is the way I decided to make mine. Tails up, heads down. I thought it would be easier to attach this way. And I kind of liked the way it looked a little bit better. So the 2 sides that I nailed in, I just hot glue those down onto that little rectangular sign. Now the 2 side pieces move because they're only attached with those nails. So I can kind of bend that back, put some hot glue down, and then bend it back down and glue that one down as well. Just a little trick there because I didn't want all my hot glue to dry up by doing all 4 sides at once. Now that I have them on there, I kind of want to tie them up, kind of like they had that rope around their tail before, but this time I want to tie them all to each other. So I'm just using some Dollar Tree twine, and I just wrap that around the tails, tied a knot, and then I can just simply wrap that around. This is kind of an optional, like, decorative touch, but I kind of like the feel that it gave it. It's very coastal and fun. So I just wrapped it around until I was happy with it, and then I'm just going to tie off my loose string as well, and then just cut off the excess. Now, the battery-operated candles from the Dollar Tree, the skinny ones fit in there just perfectly. This is how it looks so far. Kind of show you the construction of our little fish lantern. And I'm really glad I decided to make this. I think it turned out really fun. The next thing I'm going to do is just burn off all the fuzzies from that twine, just to clean that up a little bit with a lighter all the way around where I tied all of the fish together. And I'm not really going to add any color or anything to it. I kind of like it neutral like that. This is just the skinny LED pillar candle from a Dollar Tree. And again, this is the skinny one. These come like, I think in white and like ivory. I'm just going to put a white one in there because that's what I had. Just a matter of taking the plastic off. They already have batteries in them. I do recommend testing those in the store. I find half the time they don't work from the store, so you don't want to get home with a candle that doesn't work. But see how great that fits inside there? It fits in there perfectly, and the little holes between the tails, you can see the light come through. Now, I liked everything except for the bottom base sign. Kind of had just rough MDF edges. So I thought that we could just frame that out with some of the thinner Dollar Tree brown rope. And that's going to kind of coordinate with like the twine that we wrapped around the fishtail and just finish off this lantern, give it a nice finishing touch. So I just take one strand of that rope and hot glue that all the way around, just meeting up here at the corner. Just just glue down my excess edges, add my candle, and this DIY lantern is complete. I'm really into lanterns right now. I think they're so fun to make, and this is probably like one of the cutest ones I've ever made. So if you have some of these little shore living fish laying around and you don't know what to do with them, hopefully you have 4 and you can put together a cute little fish lantern like this one. And let me show you how this one looks lit up with some of the lights out. So you can kind of get like the ambient glow. And I'm glad I decided to do tails up. I think it really works better. You can see the candle in there, which makes it cute. You can see like that little candle flicker and those little electric candles. And I think it's really fun. What do you guys think about my fish lantern DIY? Here is kind of a wide shot so you can see what it looks like at a distance and in the dark. Okay, the next DIY, I picked up this cute little bee, a gnome sign at Dollar Tree today, and it was because of the frame. It has a really great coastal frame on there. See how rustic that is? I think that's going to go great with coastal decor. And to my great surprise, you could just pop this off. Look at that. It was just nailed on with little tiny nails on the back. Sometimes those backs do not come off the cool frames from the Dollar Tree, so I was really surprised that this came off so easily. So I am going to make a cute little sea scene with this using some of these new little chipboard creatures. You could use the ones that aren't colored. I have the ones that are colored. Doesn't matter because I'm going to paint mine anyway, but I picked out 3 of the little green sea turtles. You guys know I love sea turtles. I live in an area where the sea turtles nest, and you know, my son and I went to a sea turtle rescue thing the other day where you can actually go out and watch the sea turtles lay their eggs. And we've done that before and it was amazing. But this time we didn't get so lucky. No turtles graced our beach, unfortunately. We might have to sign up to do it again. So what I did was just sketch out a little shoreline there. And I am using, I think this is cashew chalk paint. I just wanted something kind of close to the color of sand because most of the sign, I want it to be sand. And I'm just painting that directly onto the back of that sign with that little squiggle line there. And that part's gonna be like the ocean. I want it to look like the little sea turtles are going down the beach, going towards the ocean like they do when they hatch out here. So it did require 2 coats, even though I used chalk paint, probably because I'm covering like that brown backing material. But I think that looks pretty good. I didn't really want to use sand on this project, so I kind of wanted something the same color. And I didn't really have the color of water I wanted either. I wanted something really light. So I just mixed ivory with some Caribbean blue to give me that really soft blue. This color is similar to the Cloudless by Apple Barrel from Walmart. I need to pick that up. I never go to Walmart, so I'll have to make a road trip there. And I just want to color the ocean part that soft blue color. Now, I want it to be abstract, but I do want there to be like sea foam. So I'm going in with a chunky brush from Dollar Tree and just some ivory acrylic. And I'm just pouncing little speckles on there. I just want it to look like very diffuse like sea foam. I also want to do that in distress kind of all over the sand to kind of make it look speckled like sand. And then maybe also some like white caps in the water. Just some very light distressing. Like kind of maybe the sea foam a little thicker on one side would look cool. And then I like the way the sea foam looks, but I did want to blend in like the white caps for the waves to make that a little bit more subtle. And I just do that with a baby white before it gets too dry. And I also kind of blend in the sand as well. But I definitely want to leave that sea foam look. I think that looks cool. That's how easy it is to paint an ocean scene. You can do it, I promise you. So I thought 3 sea turtles would be perfect. They can look like they are kind of like randomly walking. The color on these is pretty good. The only thing I didn't like was that you could kind of tell they were glossy paper on the sea turtles, contrasting against like the matte finish of the paint from the beach. So I decided to paint them anyway. I'm just using leafy green and one of those little chunky brushes. and just kind of distressing them all over with that color. And then I'm going to go in with a little antique wax by Waverly too, kind of make them like green and brown, kind of the colors of the sea turtles I see a lot, and just kind of distress it back and forth, just kind of speckling that up and down. And I think those look better just because they're not shiny. Just makes them look a little bit more high end, but they're pretty close to how they started. And then I'm just going to line them up here. The only thing I've noticed about these little chipboard pieces that they've just came out with is they're kind of hard to hot glue on. So I'm using my fine tip hot glue, and I'm only doing it on like the sea turtle flippers, so I can get it on there without getting hot glue everywhere, because my Ryobi hot glue gun like shoots out like a ton of hot glue and it would squirt out everywhere and make a mess. But otherwise, I love them. I don't know any other tricks of gluing these down. If you have any good tricks for me, be sure to post it in the comments below. I love learning from y'all too. So I think that looks pretty good, and it's time to put it back into this great frame. It's so chunky and so distressed. I love it. I do a bead of hot glue on the inside of the frame. All the little nails are still kind of on there. I wasn't sure if it would line up right, but I just put it in there, pushed it down to hot glue it in. And then I thought maybe if I take a hammer to the back, I can kind of push it back onto those nails to make it extra stable. And that seemed to work. And wasn't that an easy DIY? It's so cute too. If you guys see these frames, be sure to pick them up. They are probably my favorite frame that I've ever found from the Dollar Tree. I mean, for $1.25, look at that. So cute. And it was so easy to make this cute little sea turtle DIY. I love sea turtles. They are my absolute favorite, I think. And isn't that frame cool? I didn't have to do a thing to it. It's perfectly distressed for like a coastal farmhouse vibe. And here is a wide shot of it. Okay, the next DIY, I wanted to see if I could do something unique with one of these little mermaid signs from the Dollar Tree from the Shore Living line. And, you know, I always pick a lot of those up. I try to do different ways to decorate them. So I thought of a new way to decorate this one today. Hopefully you still have some laying around as well. I decided to do mine in front of a moon. I wanted to look like a mermaid at night in front of a moon. I think there's like a scene from The Little Mermaid, like the cartoon, where she's like in front of the moon, like a movie poster or something. Something I've seen. But so I'm just going to make the wood round from the Dollar Tree look like the moon. So I go over the whole wood round with a coat of ivory paint first. I kind of wanted mine to be an ivory and like tan a moon. And I really didn't know if I was going to be able to pull off a moon. And I think I kind of did. It's very subtle though. I decided to use some of these little stencil pouncers because they're round from the Dollar Tree. And I just mixed like some brown and some ivory that I had, trying to get like a tan color to kind of try to do like some big craters. And I just pounced those around with my big sponge, and then I used my smaller one to try to make smaller craters. Now, that looks kind of cool and it looks kind of fun, but I wanted something like way more subtle than that. So I just kind of keep working with it. I took some of the original ivory color and a chunky brush, and then I just kind of started distressing all over to kind of blend that in. And then from there, I just kind of keep working at it. It is a very abstract moon. I was trying to think of exactly how the moon looks. Lately, my son and I have been going to the beach at night because it's so much cooler. It's so hot during the day. And there is a gentleman at the beach, we've ran into him several times now, that has a giant telescope. And he always wants to show us the moon. And we see the moon so good. You can see all the little craters and the texture of the moon. It's amazing. And last time he showed us 2 like sets of double stars too. And so that was really fun. So I don't know his name, but thank you to the gentleman at the beach for letting us use your awesome telescope. So I just keep blending, you know, with like ivory and tan, go back and forth. I kind of made like the outer rim a little bit more ivory, and I just kept blending it until I was happy with it. I just wanted it to look like kind of a textured moon, but still very abstract. So that was me making like the outside a little bit lighter and then just kind of going all over it with craters, because really the moon kind of looks like that anyway. So I don't know if it was a success, but I asked my son if he thought it was the moon, and he thought it looked pretty good. So I'll take it. Now, this is the little mermaid that's kind of more upright than the one that's like swimming. There's two of these. And, you know, sometimes some of my stores still have some of these signs, not a lot of this one probably. I'm just going to remove the little starfish that she's holding because it's kind of in the way. Kind of broke that, unfortunately. Just using a scraper and some heat. Trying to get all of the glue off because I want to stain her. And if there's any hot glue on there, it's going to kind of interfere with that. Now I got this great blue sequin swatch from the Dollar Tree. And I think that's going to be a great mermaid tail. It's blue, it's bright, it looks like mermaid scales. My camera died there, but all I did was start to distress my little mermaid there with some antique wax by Waverly and just wiping off the excess with a baby wipe. I really only need to do her body, her face. I decided to do her hair too, just in case you could see any of that under, but I have plans for her tail, so I'm not going to stain it because I don't really need to, but you always could. Now, this is that great sequins. I love crafting with this. They have this in all different colors. I think the blue is probably my favorite. The green would be really pretty for a mermaid as well. It's that kind of sequence where if you push it one way, it's one color. The other way, it's another color. So I'm just trying to get mine all blue. And I want it to be upright so it looks like fish scales like that, right? And there's just enough here to cover the tail on that. Not the tail fin, but the tail part, which is all I really wanted to cover anyway. So I just kind of flip it over and line it up. I'm barely big enough, but it's big enough. And there's black fabric on the back. So I'm using a white paint pen because the only thing I could think of that I could like really show up on the black. And I'm just going to trace that out on the back. And this is probably the best white paint pen I've ever had. And I think it's about empty. I'm going to have to get another one of these. I have these listed in my Amazon shop below. They are the Posca white paint pens, and they're fabulous. So once I get that drawn on there, I am just going to cut that out exact to size. You're going to make a little bit of a mess when you're cutting through that sequins, but it'll be all right. I just cleaned up all of my sequence mess with one of those little lint rollers from the Dollar Tree. Those are great to have handy when you're crafting. Some of you guys have asked what surface I use to craft on, how nothing sticks to it. And this is a silicone like monster mat from Amazon, and it is linked in my shop, Amazon shop below. And I love it. I may have worn this one out kind of because I craft all the time, but I probably need to get a new one, or maybe it just needs a good cleaning. So I got it cut out, and now I'm going to hot glue this down, just kind of working one section at a time because I don't want my hot glue to set up on me before I get it dry. And I want to get it lined up perfectly so you can't really see any of the wood on the sides of the scales. And look how sparkly this is. I really went for bling on this mermaid, which I don't always do, but I really like how it turned out. Now for the tail, I was thinking I could use these little light blue like stickers from the Dollar Tree. I don't know what you call them. They're kind of like little pearl stickers. So I kind of wanted to paint the tail fin to kind of match. So I mixed together like turquoise and Caribbean blue, and I just kind of want to get a color that's close to those, and then I can like bejewel the little tail with those to make it special as well. It's going to be a different color of blue than the sequins on there, but that's okay. I think it's more colorful, and the more shades of blue, the better. I wanted her to kind of look like a shadow. That's one reason why I like stained her like a darker color, because she's going to be in front of the moon that we just made. And I'm just using a makeup sponge to add that blue paint to the tail. And that works great for painting things like that from the Dollar Tree. Once I get it good and dry, I just go in with those little stickers. They come on a string. Since I'm just applying this to wood, I think it's gonna stay on there pretty good. They're kind of gooey. You could always reinforce yours with more glue, but On wood, I never really have a trouble with these sticking. So I just kind of continue that string all along the outside of my tail. And it's flexible too. Like, you can't do real sharp turns, but you can do like the bottom of the tail there. And then just start filling it in. I want it to look like little stripes with the little pearl stickers. And just kind of filling in. I think I have room for like 3 stripes on each side. And I just fill that all in. I am going to make that a little bit more colorful. Now for mermaid hair. I haven't tried this, so I thought this might be a fun thing to try. This glitter coral, these little, it's like a greenery at the Dollar Tree that they have every summer. And mine has it right now for like the 4th of July stuff, which all my stores still have 4th of July stuff. I don't know why they haven't marked any of that stuff down yet. Now, I just cut a piece off and hot glue that down. I want the white coral to look like her hair. So I have 2 of those glitter coral greenery picks, and I just keep doing that, cutting it, using like the end part here for the top of her hair. And I want to cover up everywhere where there's like hair on her head here. Now, you can cut off some of the little parts that like stick out and stuff like that, but that's how mine turned out. I got pretty good coverage. I did trim mine down. Sorry, my camera died there. My camera lasts like 30 minutes. On projects like this that are longer, I wish it would like beep or something and tell me, and it totally doesn't. I really got to be looking at it, and I'm usually concentrating on my craft. But that's how she looks. So I glued them all on there. That was 2 packages of the glitter coral, and then I gave it a quick trim, but I left her hair still relatively long. Now, this is our little moon. I thought about putting it on a bigger sign, which would be really cute because you could do like ocean waves in the dark. And you could do like a starry sky. And I don't know, maybe someday I'll do that. But for today, I'm just going to do it on a moon. So I add the twine by pushing in from the back, tying onto the front, and then putting my little mermaid in front of the moon. I debated about putting a little rock painted, a shadow of a rock painted on the moon for her to be perched up against, but I kind of wanted it to be more abstract, so I decided just to leave my moon. And I'm just going to hot glue her down to the moon. She fits on here really kind of well. Her hair kind of flows off to the side, which is fine. I want it to look like mermaid hair, and I want it to look like that's her back. So I'm not going to do like a shell brawl or anything like that, but you totally could have it be like reverse because it's kind of a side profile. I thought it'd be fun for her to hold like a conch. And these little tiny shells, these are the ones that come in the little glass bottles from the Dollar Tree, kind of look like the shape of a conch. So I'm just going to hot glue that into her hand. And then I thought a little starfish for her hair would be perfect. I get these little tiny starfish on Amazon. They come in the ivory and this teal color of blue that you see here. And I do have these in my Amazon shop as well. And I love them for crafting. I'm just going to hot glue that into her hair, kind of like a little decoration or barrette in her hair. And then I decided to make the little pearl beads a little bit more colorful. They kind of coordinate with like the darker blue sequins. I don't want to color them all, but I'm just using like a blue Sharpie, and I'm doing every other one just to kind of make it kind of match with the tail a little bit and make it even more special. I was pleased to find out, even with the Sharpie on there, that they're still super shiny. And then I kind of wanted to give her a little belt to cover that black fabric that's kind of exposed there at the top of her sequin tail. And so I'm using this little burlap ribbon, like it's a trim from the Dollar Tree. And I just cut down a little waistband for her just to make that look, cute, add another little detail. I was trying to decide if I wanted to double it up or just leave it flat. I decided just to go ahead and glue it down flat. And then I decided it needed a little bit of color there too. So I do go in there with those same little pearl stickers that we used on the tail. And I can fit about 4 on her tail, but on the fabric, I decided to hot glue those down because I wasn't sure how well they would stick to that. And just kind of tie that all together a little bit, another little detail. And just like the tail, I decided to do every other one in like a more teal color. And isn't she fabulous. I love the sequence. I think it's so pretty. And I think, this would be really cute too if you wanted to make like a Halloween decoration and she's in front of the moon, little mermaid. She could be holding a pumpkin or a jack-o'-lantern. I might have to create something like that for Halloween. It's going to be here before we know it. And you guys know I love decorating coastal for every holiday. But this is how my little mermaid looks, my little mermaid at night. And the blue sequins make this so special. And my moon, I think it turned out okay. I really like the coral hair. What do you guys think about that one? Hey guys, I want to take a quick moment and tell you about my Facebook group. If you join us, I have it linked below. You can find out when I post new videos and you can see what everybody's been crafting. I get so many ideas from y'all. You're so creative. I also have Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest, and my handle is Crafty Beach on YouTube. Now, you guys know I love a good Dollar Tree canvas, and I always try to find creative ways to use them. This one is a sea turtle. You guys know I love them. And I found this at Dollar Tree the other day. Whenever I find a box of those at my Dollar Tree, I dig through there because they have great coastal ones. They have seahorse ones. They have all these ones, just regular Dollar Tree stuff, not Shore Living or anything like that. And this is kind of a small one, but I think it's going to be the perfect size to make like a custom coastal vase. And this is going to be a very neutral color DIY. That's going to be great for fall. Or if you have like more of a neutral coastal decor in your house. I am just going around the sides of mine because I really only need the front part of this for size-wise, and using a razor blade and just cutting all the canvas off. It's easier than dealing with all the staples in the back. Now, it's perfect height for one of those little vases from the Dollar Tree. And so I am just going to cut this down right where the corner was on the front part of the canvas all the way around. And isn't that a cute print? See how that fits on there just perfectly? Now, the only thing is it doesn't go all the way around. I thought it might look a little odd like that, so I decided I wanted to decorate all the way around for this little coastal vase. And so I'm just going to use burlap, more specifically one of these little burlap bags from Dollar Tree. I love crafting with these. They don't fray. They have a plastic coating on the back, so they're super easy to cut down. And they give you that great like burlap look. So I am just going to cut the front off and then kind of just cut down the same shape of the canvas. And this way I can cover the back of it with some burlap as well. So see how well that cuts, no fraying at all. And I think that's gonna work. So this project was so easy. I am just going to attach that burlap to this with a bead of hot glue. Just along the side. And you do have to be sensitive. The plastic is susceptible to hot glue, but if you work quickly, you don't have to worry about it too much. So I glued that down. It filled up about half of the vase. Now, when I put the canvas on there, I thought it might look a little bumpy where the overlap happens between the two different materials. So I decided to cut this down a little bit. So the overlap is, like a lot smaller, and you won't really be able to see it. So I did trim that down just a little bit, and I'm going to glue that back in place. I'm going to overlap that slightly with the canvas. And I love these canvases. I have so many of the Shore Living ones, and I just pick up coastal ones there all the time at Dollar Tree. They come in different sizes, like long, skinny ones, little ones like this, the bigger ones. And there's so many things that you can craft with them, like a custom coastal vase. So I just hot glue both ends, or both sides of the canvas, overlapping on top of the burlap. I want to make sure that's good and secure, so I make sure I glue all the way to the edges to make sure that's nice and tight. My favorite way to look at this is to look at it like from the face first, so you can kind of really tell what it is because it kind of wraps around the vase. But I think it's super cute and coastal. Now to fill it up, I got some of this great greenery. This is their new fall flowers. It's the eucalyptus, but look, they have like a brown green tint to them. And I thought that would be really cute mixed with some of that Shore Living greenery. That Shore Living greenery this year, oh, I love it. Came in two different colors. It came in like this brownish greenish color, and then it came in like a more like a lamb's ear color, more of a blue green. So I thought these colors would go great together. This is the little seahorse that came with that darker green and brown. And we're going to do like a seahorse one, like in the front. It's totally going to look great together with my sea turtle. And I think it's going to look good with the little seaweeds and stuff like that mixed in with the eucalyptus, because the colors really work well together. So I just stand my little seahorse up in front. And then I have two more of the little coastal Shore Living picks from the Dollar Tree with the little seashells on them too. So I thought one of those would be really cute on each side. And I was trying it out to see if I could do this without any like floral foam in there. I found that these guys were a little too short. And so I do go back and add a little floral foam in there just to raise it up a little bit. Otherwise, I didn't really need it because I didn't really cut anything down. It's just a matter of stacking everything into the vase. And that's basically all there is to it. Two of the fall eucalyptus. They have those in all different colors in the fall section. I picked up some of each because I think they're so pretty. And you guys know, if you follow my community post, that I found like a fresh box of these little Shore Living seahorses and seashell greenery. Oh, I was so excited. So I have plenty to use year round, and they go with just about anything. Aren't they adorable? You can always try to recreate your own with the seashells pretty easily, but that little seahorse is really super special. So I just kind of wrap my seaweed and like the greenery that was on those and mix it in a little bit with the eucalyptus. And we have a really cute little neutral sea turtle vase for fall. I think this is going to look so cute in my decor. You know I need to add like one more touch. So I do have that little burlap trim. I love using this stuff from the Dollar Tree. And I thought it would be really cute to trim out the top and the bottom of the vase to kind of give it a final little finishing touch. It's going to add another little interesting texture too. And so I'm just going to hot glue that right along the top of the vase. It's also going to cover up like any visible glass. I don't really want you to be able to see any glass. I want it to look like just a really special custom vase. And so I just glue that all the way around. And I still had plenty of that trim left, so I thought I might as well go around the bottom too, to kind of disguise the glass down there and just kind of frame that out as well. So these Dollar Tree canvases, you never know what you can do with them. I'm always looking for ways to use these in home decor because they're so inexpensive. For $1.25, it turned out so cute. And I think that fall greenery looks really good together with the little seahorse and the seashell picks. So fun. I absolutely love them. I'm going to display mine like this with like the little sea turtle face peeking out. And this is how it turned out. See how well those colors kind of coordinate with each other? And I haven't really used a lot of those colors yet from those because I'd use the more blue-green ones and other DIYs in our little sea turtle vase. I think he's absolutely adorable and he's going to look great for fall. Okay, next DIY, these little mermaid tail wreath forms. You know, they're actually not Shore Living, and I noticed that my stores are still carrying these and the shell ones, so maybe they're not Shore Living. I wanted to do a kind of like coastal touch on this. I wanted to see if I could make kind of an easier version of this. I find them a little hard to make when you glue the fabric on from behind because you have to arch it up along the back to glue it to the little mermaid scales like that, with little squiggly lines. So I decided to take one of these like mint green placemats from the Dollar Tree and cover the back of the tail, but I'm actually going to leave it flat like that and kind of make it like a more 3D wreath form. And I'm just going to cover the tail part with it. So I just traced that out with a Sharpie along the outside of the wreath form. And then just cutting this down to size. I love these like mint green placemats from the Dollar Tree. They're so fun to craft with and they look so coastal. I didn't want to do sequins and all that kind of stuff with this one. For this one, I wanted just more traditional coastal colors. I didn't really want a lot of bling on this. I've made these many different ways. And this one, I just kind of wanted a very subtle look. And I'm going to do that with a combination of that bluish green fabric, burlap, and Dollar Tree rope. So again, I'm using one of these little burlap bags from the Dollar Tree. Whenever I see these, I try to pick up 3 or 4 because I love crafting with those. I just cut the front panel off of this one, flip it over, and we're gonna have like a burlap tail. So it's going to be a different color, but it's still going to look super coastal. I'm going to do the same thing I did with the placemat, just using a Sharpie, tracing around the shape of the tail. And this is probably one of the easiest ones of these that I've made. I am still going to cover like the little squiggle lines with rope, so that does take a little bit of time. But I think it was a lot easier to make it this way than gluing it directly to the back because you have like all that arch shape and everything like that. And I'll show you how I put this together. So I just cut out the tail fin. I just want the piece that can cover all of that. I'm actually going to have it on the front, but I just wanted to make sure that I had that part big enough. Kind of like that. I know that you can see the little fins through there, but we're actually going to use that to our advantage when we go to put this all together. And since it does have that like arch shape, you could like have this with the tail fin down, and I've seen some people like kind of make it into a basket. That could be fun. I wanted mine to be open though, and so I still wanted the little squiggle lines here, but I wanted them to be covered with something. So I'm using the thinner white rope from the Dollar Tree. And I have so many partial packages of these because you guys know I love crafting with these white ropes from the Dollar Tree. They're so nautical and fun. And it's definitely big enough to cover like that wire. I don't want the wire to be visible from the front at all. So I just cut down a piece for each one of the squiggle lines and just glue that to the top. And this was a great way to get rid of all of my scrap pieces of this that I have saved forever. I think I have a whole bin just of scrap pieces. Very few whole packages. I'm not going all the way to the edges because I want there to be room there to do that part of the wire with rope as well. Now, I stopped here on the little squiggle lines. I probably should have done the last straight line as well, because the reason I'm doing this now is because any of the hot glue that drips down, I don't want that to drip on the fabric that we're going to put behind it, which is this little placemat. I love the texture on that. It really kind of matches the texture on the burlap. You can see the weave in there, and so I'm just going to glue this on to the back now of the wire wreath form. I just started here with the tip part. It was kind of hard to line it up because I did cut it down to size. You might want to glue yours and then cut yours later. I thought it would be easier to cut mine first. I'm not really sure. I did get it to work, but the way I got it to work was to flip it over and kind of do it this way where I could kind of see what I was doing a little bit more. So I'm still going to work one section at a time because I don't want my hot glue to set up on me, and just flatten that out, kind of stretching it across the back. I want that to be like lay flat against the wall, not against the mermaid tail. And then just working my way up. I cut it like almost directly to size because I didn't want that fabric to be visible on the sides. And so it just fits, but it fits. So we're going to glue that all down. And it gives you a kind of a cool effect with like the white rope, squiggle lines, like kind of sticking out towards you with that kind of material up on the back. Now for the burlap part, I'm going over the top of this one. Because I thought this way would be a little bit easier, and then I can do the fins with something else. I don't want to do thick rope on those like I did on the other part. I thought that'd be too big, so I just do a bead of hot glue all over. I decided to only do one half at a time to make sure I could get it on there before my hot glue set up. And then once I get that dried and connected, I can go in with the hot glue and glue the other side on. Now, I know you can see these little lines on there, and I do plan to cover that up. Instead of using Dollar Tree rope, I'm going to use some of the Dollar Tree macrame cord for that. I think that's going to be the perfect width for that. And I'm just making sure that I have this all secure. It was a little tight over on this side. But I am going to line the outside of the mermaid tail with that same white rope that we used before to finish that all up. And this is the macrame cord. I've been using the heck out of this. Today I even found more colors. You guys know that I've been crafting with the blue, and I picked up pink and purple. Today I picked up gray, black, more of the white. I love this stuff for crafting. And so I do a bead of hot glue just where like the wire is. Probably should have used my fine tip hot glue gun because it shoots out a little bit skinnier row. But I basically just cut a little macrame cord down for each one. And you can see it through the burlap, so you kind of know exactly where to put it. And I think this width works better for this section. Okay, so I have that all on there. Now it's just a matter of outlining it, but I thought before I do that, I probably should take care of a hanger. And so I'm just gonna put a little piece of this twine from the Dollar Tree. I'm on a corner. I like to hang my mermaid tails kind of like at an angle, kind of upside down, like it's like a mermaid tail sticking out of the ocean, if you know what I mean. And I just tie a little knot on that to make a very simple little hanger, because I won't be able to do that after I frame it out. So I decided to open up a fresh package of this thin white rope from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to start here on the bottom corner. But I've noticed that a few of the ropes were kind of sticking out a little bit, and I thought they might get in my way. So I do a quick trim of these to expose the sides. And then I'm just going to start hot gluing that all the way around. I did notice those ropes. I was trying to kind of seal them off a little bit with the end, but it does kind of make a little bit of a squiggly line along the side of the rope, but that's okay. I kind of like it. If I can push any of the fibers from the side rope underneath of it and kind of package that in there, I do it, but not super intentionally. And then I decide to just go around the point part of this. Rather than cut out a little piece to cover that part later, I thought it would look better just to kind of continue this piece on. So I wrap that around the tail, but I will go back and line the little fin part there at the end too. And I just work one section at a time with the hot glue. And this is the part I kind of had to be careful on because I didn't want that to drip through on the background, and I got lucky and it didn't, but you might want to cover that part initially when you do your squiggly lines. So now it's time for the tail fin. I told you it was not going to be super sparkly or anything like that, kind of like our first mermaid. This one's going to be very coastal. It's going to go with all of my coastal decor in my house. I can hang this on the wall. You can hang this on a door. I think I'm going to hang this on a wall. I think it will look really cute. Maybe in my hallway. And I'm just going to start there against it, hot glue this all the way around, all the little squiggles here on the tail, kind of sandwiching in that macrame cord that we added there. And I really like the colors on this. That placemat, the color on that is absolutely perfect for coastal decor. And this was a fun, easy way to do the little mermaid tail wreath form. I know lots of you guys have been looking for ways to do this one and the shell, so I try to keep doing some of these DIYs for you to give you more ideas. Just cleaning up any of my hot glue strings there with my heat gun. It works great for those little stringy pieces of hot glue that get caught when you're crafting a lot with glue. And this is how it turned out. Isn't it super cute? I decided not to add a bow or anything to it. I just wanted it to be super simple, and I think it has enough detail. It definitely has enough texture, and this is how it turned out. This is how I like to hang mine. Kind of tilted, kind of upside down like that. And I love the white rope against that like mint green blue color. It's so pretty. And here is a wide shot of our little mermaid tail. Okay, guys, I wanted to do something fun with these little burlap canvases from the Dollar Tree. So I picked up an 8x10 burlap canvas and a white frame from the Dollar Tree. Now, I was reading that you could attach HTV, heat transfer vinyl, onto burlap. I know that you can't do it with, like regular vinyl. There's no way that's going to stick on burlap, but I wanted to give it a go. So I just want the frame. I'm going to leave mine white. You kind of have to be careful when you're pulling these staples out because these Dollar Tree frames are a little bit fragile. But I like that these canvases come in 5x7 or 8x10 standard size, so you can just use a frame and you don't have to build anything. So we're going to have a white frame. We're going to have a canvas made out of burlap. And then I'm going to try using 2 of these little bamboo cutting boards from the Dollar Tree to make a spacer plate and back, because whenever you're using heat transfer vinyl, you need a solid surface on the back to get it to work. This is heat transfer vinyl that I get on Amazon. I just buy it by the roll. It's pretty inexpensive. You cut heat transfer vinyl on your Cricut, glossy side down, so kind of upside down. And I like to leave mine on my mat to pull that part off because you have to pull pretty hard on HTV. Then I'm going to weed this out. This is a coral design that I designed, and I will share this Cricut file with you that you can cut it out as well. And I think it's a great like branching coral. I think it's going to look really good on the canvas. So the way the HTV works is it's on a carrier sheet, so you don't need any kind of transfer tape or anything like that. I'm going to put down my like ironing mat and my canvas with my 2 wood boards behind it to have a solid surface back there. Otherwise, this is probably not going to work. And the little cutting boards worked great for this. It's kind of sticky, so you kind of line it up. It's not super sticky on the burlap, but enough to make it work. And then I'm just going to use some Dollar Tree parchment paper to cover that up. I like to use this. It's disposable. It works well for heat transfer vinyl. And my Cricut Easy Press at 305 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 seconds. I looked up that time for HTV on burlap on the Cricut website and press that on. Now, once it's on there, I just have to let it cool off a little bit. Don't be afraid to use HTV on your Cricut. It is a great use for something like this that vinyl won't stick to. I let mine cool off and then I'm testing it to make sure that it's good and down, and it is. So I can just peel off the carrier paper that was on there and leaves us a beautiful silhouette of a coral. Now, I do like to press mine again to make sure it's down. I wanted to make sure it was really attached, so I put my little cutting boards down behind it again and cover it with my parchment paper again. And I'm just going to press it just again for just a few seconds. But originally, I did use pressure. You guys saw that I was using my Cricut Easy Press and kind of pushing down on it to make sure that I got good adhesion, and it worked out fantastic. You can also do this with an iron if you don't have a Cricut Easy Press. Have any of you guys tried the new heat transfer vinyl from Dollar Tree? I've noticed that they have it now, and I haven't tried it. I don't like their Cricut vinyl with my Cricut machine. Can't stand it, but hopefully their heat transfer vinyl is a little bit better. But if you buy it in a roll like this, like I buy it on Amazon, it's pretty inexpensive. Now, I do a bead of hot glue on the inside of my white frame. And I'm just going to try to wedge my canvas in there. Now, I've had this work great with Dollar Tree frames before. This one was not the sturdiest frame, but I guess what can you expect for $1.25? Because as you can see, like the corners kind of wanted to crack open a little bit when I forced that in there. So I decided to reinforce mine a little bit with some more staples. But it's still going to kind of have cracks in the side. And I thought maybe just some spackle would fill that up, and it actually did a great job because it's going to dry, white anyway, and my frame is white, and it blended in really well and made it not noticeable at all. But I wanted a white frame, and I didn't want to have to paint it, so I guess that's the lesson learned on this, because I've done this before with Dollar Tree frames, and it turned out better than that, but we fixed the problem. I'm just going to use the canvas, wood back to hang it. You could always attach a hanger to the back, but I want it to be just like that, and I absolutely love how this turned out. A little white coral on canvas. This is going to look great hanging in my home. Isn't it pretty? And I will share that cut file for you for sure, where you can use that on your Cricut machine. Isn't it pretty? Let me show you how it looks hanging up. And I'm just absolutely in love with these burlap canvases. There's so many uses, especially for coastal and for fall. Like, I pick them up every single time I see them, the 8x10 size and the 5x7. And I think that looks so cute. I loved it so much that I decided I needed to make a second one. And so that's what we're going to do. So I had another, of course, burlap canvas, and I actually had another white frame that was exactly the same as the first one. And so I thought we could do a pair, and that way I can hang the two together. Now, one thing I noticed when I took the frame apart this time is if you flatten that staple out a little bit before you pull it out, it's gonna not damage the frame as much because it's not super durable. I decided to staple my corners first. I don't know if that was a good idea because I think it kind of cracked more that way. Because I kind of expected this to crack, kind of like my first one did on the corners, but that's okay. We were able to fix it, so I thought, why not? So I designed another cut file and cut this out with HTV as well. This one's going to be more of like a seaweed. I didn't want to do like the same kind of pattern. And so again, using my mat to help me pull that off, because you have to tug pretty hard. But it's so easy to weed this design. Check that out. It only left like a few little pieces here that I had to pull out. And we have a cute little seaweed. I think that's going to coordinate really well with the coral. Just a few more pieces here. I usually like to use my bright pad, but for HTV, I do like to leave it on the mat like that. So same process. I'm going to protect my silicone mat with my little ironing sheet. 2 of the little bamboo cutting boards, which I love that. Usually you have to build some kind of a spacer to go in the back of a canvas like this. I'm going to line up my seaweed, kind of try to center it on there. The stem's a little off-centered, so just kind of push that on there where I want it. Cover that with some parchment paper, and again, 305 degrees for 30 seconds with medium pressure. I'm pushing down on that with my Cricut Easy Press. And then I wanted to see if it was connected. So first you have to let it cool off for a second. I did notice it wasn't down as well as I wanted, but that's okay. I'll just put everything back down, put some more heat on it for a few more seconds, and see if that seals the deal. The design probably peels better from the other way anyway, bottom up, and this time it looked better. So just peeling off my carrier sheet, and just like before, I do want to give it a final press, so I just put the parchment paper back down and just use my Cricut Easy Press for just a few more seconds just to seal that in. And I think these are going to look so cute. They're great for like coastal decor for sure. I wanted that really sealed down, so I gave it a little second whirl, and just like before, there is a lot of pressure to put it in there, but I still think you need a little bit of hot glue to glue that in because you don't want it to pop out. And then I forced this kind of down inside the frame so that it would kind of hold on to the canvas is why I kind of do that. But again, it did split in the corners. And this time I think it split like even a little bit worse, but it was still stapled together in the back. So I think it's still going to stay together. It's going to be pretty stable. Now the spackle worked great on the other frame, so I decided to just do the same thing on this one, and it did really good too. I just put it in the corners where the crack is, and then I go back with a baby wipe to kind of clean it off of the frame, so it will all dry with the same finish. And I think that looks pretty good. Let me show you how our little seaweed one turned out. So pretty. I can't wait to do kind of the same thing with like some silhouettes of sea creatures. I think that would be really pretty too. But since I did coral on the first one, I decided to do seaweed here on the second one. That way I could display them together. I think they look really high end, and no one would know that it came from the Dollar Tree. So HTV on burlap, check, yes, it works, and it works really well. I was going to do a stencil and paint those on. I'm so glad I thought about trying to find something else that would work on there, and look how cute they look together. Hey guys, I wanted to let you know that I've introduced memberships on my channel. For $4.99 a month, you can help support me here at Crafty Beach. You're going to get early ad-free access to my videos like this one and a few other perks as well, and I appreciate the support so much. I want to give a huge thank you to Karen O'Haron, Coastal Couple, Pamela Bergeron, I Am Moto Jojo, Melinda Elizabeth, Jamie Job, Susan Edmonds, Sandra Ray, Stacy Hall, Carrie R., Tracy Knight, Verna Noctegal, Julie Miller, and Arklatex Animal Rescue. Thank you so much for being Crafty Beach One members and supporting me. I appreciate you so much. And now it's time for the final reveal. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it. It helps the algorithm. And comment your favorite beach DIY below, or just come say hello in the comments. I love chatting with you guys. And don't forget to subscribe. We're almost to 20,000 subscribers. I can't wait to reach it. We'll have a big 20K giveaway. Enjoy the final reveal.
For better days to come and carry us like wind in our sails. Hold on tight, I can smell the shore, it's right in front of us if we just hold on tight. This vision that I saw is getting closer every dawn. We are dreamers of the shore. 7 years now on this boat, and we all know where we belong. Just wait. For our home to show on the horizon, soon we'll be there. Hold on tight, I can smell the shore, it's right in front of us if we just hold on tight. This vision that I saw is getting closer every dawn. We are dreamers of the shore when we can't read the sky. We just sail with the wind that we've got. And when we're drowning in doubt, just keep on believing. We are dreamers of the
much for watching. If you'd like to watch more Crafty Beach videos, YouTube thinks you might enjoy this video right here.